Good afternoon and welcome to the Fall 2019 graduation ceremony of the Language and Culture Center. Thank you for showing your support of our students and our program by being here today. I would also like to thank Jenny Xu and Yvonne Wang, two of our brightest LCC students, both from China, for playing the piano for us today. Students, we're here to celebrate your wonderful achievements. You have taken on the challenge of learning a new language and adapting to a new culture. We thank you for choosing to study at the University of Houston in the Language and Culture Center. It's been a privilege to teach you, to get to know you, and to discover even more about your fascinating cultures. The Language and Culture Center is housed in the Department of English in the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Chair of the Department of English, Dr. Ann Christensen, who will welcome you on behalf of the department and the college.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm really happy to be here with you all on this important day. I heard a radio interview last week with the actor playing Tina Turner in the Tina Turner musical on Broadway. Do you young folks know who Tina Turner is?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Sorry. So, in case you don't, she is an African-American singing and dancing icon whose career began in the 60s as part of Ike and Tina Turner. And she reinvented herself after many hardships as a solo artist when she was in her 40s, and she has legs up to the moon. And their most famous hit was Proud Mary, which goes, rolling on the river. Anyway, the performer who's playing Tina Turner, Adrienne Warren, was in an interview, and she talked about her early doubts about taking the role, the rigorous training that she underwent, and the advice that Tina gave her. I want to quote a little bit from the interview today because while I was listening to it, I was thinking about you and this special day when I listened to the actor reflect. The actor Warren asked Tina Turner, how do you do this? How do you be you? And the star said, the thing is, there are no shortcuts for hard work. And she's right. This is still the actor talking. And I really took that to heart. I put that in everything, in my training. I trained for about 8 months before I even started the run in London, in boxing, and transformed my body. And I knew I had to give everything, every part of myself into this role in order to do it successfully and truly pay homage to her in the way in which she deserves. The first thing that reminded me of you graduates was the line about paying homage. That means recognizing someone in a way that they deserve. And that's what this ceremony is intended to do. Now, it's not a musical, although there will be some music. But I thought of you also with the motto, there are no shortcuts to hard work. We see many, many examples of shortcuts. Atajo in Spanish. How's that for my reference to another language? So shortcuts often go bad. The doctor who doesn't order the test, a construction job that's not done properly, someone running a stoplight, and so on. But you know that long, hard work is necessary to learn a new language. There's no other way to do it, and you did it. Another thing you share with the actor is timing and training. I trained for about 8 months, she says. You trained for months in your courses. You trained with study, practice, reading, speaking, writing, and more practice. And I think there was some fun along the way, too. The fourth parallel is the actor's belief that success comes when you give everything, she says. I know you have each made sacrifices to be here today. You gave your personal time, time with family and friends back home, sleep, probably, I hope not too much, and more in order to complete the program, and I admire you. The Language and Culture Center may not be as famous as Motown or Broadway, but Dr. Nelms and her staff work very hard for you, and I do sometimes hear singing down the hall. Today is a day for you all to be the stars. Congratulations and best wishes for the holidays on behalf of the English department.
Our student speaker this afternoon represents the magnificent graduating class of Fall 2019. Liliana Velos Marquez is from Mexico. She graduated from Universidad del Valle de Mexico and a master's in public policy and administration from CIDE. I'm going to try it. Centro de Investigación de Ciencias Económicas. Liliana conducted research for 9 years at CIDE, exploring topics such as corruption and transparency. Ms. Velos came to the LCC just this semester. She's here with her husband and her 2 beautiful daughters. Where are they now? Maria is 15 and Ana Luisa is 10. They're both here today, so very proud of their mom. Both girls attend the British International School of Houston. We are also extremely proud to share with you that Liliana just got accepted into the PhD program in political science here at the University of Houston. You'll see how amazing she is in just a minute. Liliana's dreams are to continue conducting research and applying her research even past her PhD in order to improve the living conditions in Mexico. I'm pleased to present our student graduation speaker this afternoon, Ms. Liliana Velos Marquez.
Thank you very much. I'm pretty nervous, so I will, as my teacher said, we'll calm down, okay? Thank you all. Last summer, I found a project that became also a personal one, as Julie just told you, because I'm starting my PhD soon. Brought myself and my husband and my daughters to Houston, to this amazing university, and to its Language and Culture Center, the LCC, as we all know it. Here, I found not only amazing teachers, but also great classmates that have become my friends. All of them are talented people from different countries with a lot of dreams and purposes to accomplish. I think that I can speak for all when I say that the opportunity to know people from different cultures is one of the most significant benefits of attending the LCC. For all of us, learning English is the first step to reaching our goals. Every time that I spoke to my classmates, we shared our plans and how we were looking forward to reaching them. Today, we can all be very proud because we have completed our English preparation and we are ready to continue with our next step. It doesn't matter if we are planning to attend an undergraduate or a graduate program, earn a certification, or just learn a new language. Reaching this level of English proficiency will put us one step closer to our dreams. Also, it will open up many opportunities for us everywhere we go, because speaking a new language lasts for life. It's been an incredible experience to be at the LCC, and I really hope that students of all levels decide to continue and complete level 6. It's really worth it. I've always believed that there's no more satisfaction than when you have an experience from the beginning to the end. When you start and accomplish something, you can realize how strong and dedicated you are. For sure, there will be times when you want to give up, but then you manage how to finish. In my case, I decided to go along with my husband and my daughters to continue with my doctoral studies and to give our daughters the opportunity to study outside of Mexico, my home country. My first step in reaching my goal was to improve my English skill as much as possible and put myself in a student mood again because I finished school a long time ago. This experience was just what I expected. The professors helped me to improve all my language skills. They looked for experiences that could help us to enrich our language. I am truly grateful to them, and I am very honored because they asked me to be here today to speak to you on behalf of myself and my classmates. Congratulations to all graduates and all LCC students. Well done for us. Keep dreaming and the stress us out. Thank you very much.
Okay, now I'm pleased to introduce to you our guest speaker for today's ceremony, Dr. Benjamin Rader. Dr. Rader is the Director for National Fellowships and Major Awards and an Instructional Assistant Professor in the Honors College at the University of Houston. As part of his responsibilities, he creates awareness for external fellowship opportunities and helps candidates with the development of application materials. Dr. Rader also oversees the Houston Scholars, a competitive program that prepares high-achieving freshmen and sophomore students to apply for major awards. His doctorate is in comparative politics with a focus on extremism and German politics. Before arriving at the University of Houston in 2017, Dr. Rader worked as the Assistant Director in the Fellowships Office at Drexel University. He is also the master of 63-letter words. Dr. Benjamin Rader.
I don't know if this is going to work, but let's see. Oh, look at that. Okay, I want to start my remarks by first off thanking Dr. Jody Nelms for inviting me today to speak to you all. Dr. Nelms asked me to give a commencement speech last semester, but unfortunately I had a scheduling conflict and could not attend. It was a difficult invitation to turn down, but I'm excited to be here today, finally and standing before the graduating class from the LCC. So you're all in for a real treat because this is my first commencement speech. So like many of the applications that I read in my role as Director for National Fellowships and Major Awards at UH, the following remarks could strike the perfect tone, or they could just go off the rails completely. Either way, I hope they are memorable, and I'm honored to be with you all this afternoon. I also want to congratulate you on everything that you've accomplished to get to this point. Learning a language requires patience, determination, and commitment. Trust me, I know. I learned German. The language is filled with separable verbs. It contains endless compound nouns such as, stay with me now, Rindfleisch, Etikettierungs-, Überwachungsaufgaben- und Übertragungsgesetz, which is 63 letters and means the law for the delegation of monitoring beef labeling. It doesn't exist anymore. This law was repealed in 1999, so no one should ever have to say it again. But furthermore, German has complicated word order rules, not to mention the often guttural pronunciation. Can you all understand why Mark Twain hated this language with a fierce passion? Despite the peculiarities of German and Mark Twain's opinions, I gradually came to understand the logic of it while speaking German during the 7.5 years that I lived in Germany and the many years that I studied Deutsch in the United States. I'm sure that many of you, the complexities of English aside, and there are many, you should start nodding, know exactly what I mean. More important than logic, though, I came to understand the value of speaking a second language fluently. I'm not referring to this in the context of getting hired for a job, an advantage that you all have with your English abilities, or continuing your education in the United States. Rather, my appreciation for German grew as it increasingly enabled me to speak to Germans. Okay, and maybe the French person that just sang can probably relate to this. You're probably thinking, why would anyone want to talk to Germans? They are outwardly cold, frequently quite blunt, possess a warped sense of humor if they have any to begin with, and if you don't know any German, you would probably think that they're yelling at you most of the time. But that's precisely my point. Through language, I grew to see how so many of these stereotypes were just that, stereotypes. I'm a naturally curious person, and learning German allowed me to go places and meet people that I never would have encountered in my monolingual existence. For my dissertation, I carried out interviews with far right and far left politicians politicians gathering information that no other researcher had acquired up to that point. I sat in many breweries, taverns, and beer halls, obviously it's a theme there, cracking jokes with locals and discussing provincial ways of life that no tourist could ever stumble upon. I started to learn dialects like Franconian, Saxon, and Bavarian. It was so gratifying every time a German would come up to me for directions and was unable to detect that I was not a native. I was deep in this. It wasn't just Germany and Germans that I came to know. Through conversations in German, I met people from Iran. I think I saw somebody from Iran on the program today. Belarus and Russia, countries that were once merely a news item for me. I became more linked to the world and people around me than I'd ever been before. Since some version of English is spoken by roughly 1.5 billion people, you are positioned well to be connected to the world around you. It's my hope that you will use language, and specifically English, as a conduit for engagement and mutual understanding. I'm ripping off the mission statement from Full right now. Whatever your next steps might be. If they're in the US, talk to people. Go up to them. Ask questions. I'm sure that many of you have done this already during your time at Houston. In the beginning, you probably noticed how self-conscious you might have been about your accent, to find the right words at the right moment, or had a fear of misunderstanding a native speaker's comments. With time, however, your confidence grew, and you were communicating with more people and different types of people. You're probably aware of how rewarding these interactions can be. You might have learned some new vocabulary like slab and trill, and when someone driving in Houston tells you they are minutes away, this actually means they will probably be there within an hour. But you probably had some more in-depth conversations too, whether they were about American politics, flooding, race relations, immigration, or values. You probably heard some views you disregard or disagreed with, those you agreed with, and those that surprised you. As important as these conversations are for your understanding of the US and the English language, I can guarantee you that they've been just as meaningful for the person on the other side of the conversation. Your conversation partner might have gotten a new perspective or been forced to reflect upon their own. Amid the current political climate, it's all the more important that you engage with Americans. Our country is so divided in part because we don't talk to each other. It's too challenging for the average American to interact with someone who looks, thinks, and votes differently than them. Keep in mind that the majority of Americans do not speak a second language and have never been abroad. For many, your conversations are a link to the wider world. So don't stop. Since returning to the US, I'm constantly reminded of how diverse, nuanced, and utterly fascinating this country is. It's yours to discover through language. So congratulations on graduating today. If you get frustrated along the way, just remember that you'll never have to say the word Rindfleischliche Bewaffnungsaufgaben für Tagungsgesetz. Congratulations.
All of you, and congratulate all of our students today. At this time, the LCC is pleased to award graduation diplomas to the students in level 6. As your name is called, please come forward to receive your diploma. Remember, the University of Houston accepts successful completion of level 6 as proof of English proficiency for admission to all undergraduate programs and to an ever-growing number of graduate programs. Susan McAllister and Gregory Urquhart, our level 6 instructors, will now come up to present the diplomas to our graduating students. From Iran, Babak Ahmadirai.
Look at this one. Hang on, take a picture. Oh, it's a
From Honduras, Amanda Beatriz Escoto Enriquez. From Vietnam, Ngoc Dinh Ho. From Colombia, Fabio Iguaran Castillo. From the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Israel Kitenge. Israel just learned how to smile today. With his teeth. From Mexico, Celine Para Munoz. From Colombia, Natalia Pinzon Jimenez. From Chile, Maria Fernanda Sandoval Guerrero. From Mali, Mariola Sanogo. From Mexico, Liliana Velos Marquez. And from China, Yilong Wang. And now I present to you the Language and Culture Center Fall 2019 graduating class. The Language and Culture Center awards scholarships for study in our intensive English program. These scholarships are awarded to continuing students who have demonstrated outstanding academic achievement, leadership, and cross-cultural understanding. At this time, I would like to recognize our current scholarship recipient, Celine Para Munoz. I ask you to stand. As you know, Celine studied in level 6 with us this semester, and we are very proud of all of her accomplishments. I would also like to take a few moments to congratulate her parents, who are here from Mexico today to celebrate with us. congratulations. Sunil is one very special student. Thank you. We're glad you're here. The scholarship to be awarded today is the Brad Powell Scholarship. This scholarship honors Mr. Brad Powell, who served as Program Director of Counseling and Student Services at the LCC. Brad was dedicated to the Language and Culture Center and to all of our international students. At this time, I am pleased to announce the recipient of the Brad Powell Scholarship for Study in Spring 2020. I have to turn the page. In 4A, from Burkina Faso, Ange Baikal Cabre. As we come to the end of our ceremony this afternoon, I wish to acknowledge our outstanding instructors and staff. So all instructors, leadership staff, support staff, and program assistants of the Language and Culture Center, would you please stand? Thank you. With the closing of this ceremony, the Language and Culture Center has completed another successful semester. We would now like to invite you to join us upstairs in the atrium for our graduation reception. LCC instructors will be in the reception area with certificates for all students. We ask that the students and guests remain seated while the instructors leave first. Thank you for being here today and let the celebration begin.